everyone, welcome back to the channel. Anyway, I decided to do something that probably every YouTuber has done in at least once in their lifetime. So I decided to be a sheep and get on the trend, and I am going to make a tier list. We're going to be ranking one of my favorite game series of all time, and that of course is the Metal Gear series. A very strange and definitely a series that has its many ups and downs throughout the years, but it's definitely an iconic one that's lasted for well over 20 years at this point. So all the ones I haven't played are just here at the bottom. There's like Snake's Revenge, Metal Gear, Game Boy Color, Metal Gear Solid Touch, which I believe was an iPhone game. I sort of remember it a little, maybe. Of course, Metal Gear, and then Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. Those are the games I have not played, but the vast majority of these games I have played throughout my time, and it's going to be quite interesting to see, looking back, where I feel a lot of the big name games in the series rank alongside each other. So, without further ado, let's rank these games. So let's kick this off with the last game in the series, Metal Gear Survive. I couldn't survive playing it, to be honest. Obviously, it's the last game in the canon universe, in the Metal Gear universe, where after Metal Gear Solid 5 and Hideo's departure, Konami decided, hey, you know what people want? They want a zombie shooter resource collecting game. Why not put that in the Metal Gear Solid universe? If I take Metal Gear Survive as a standalone game and not kind of have my feelings about it because it is set in the Metal Gear universe, I think it was okay, but there was nothing really groundbreaking about it. It's a grindy zombie shooter resource management game, and it just got very, very boring very, very quickly. And I don't think it's like the worst game at all. I honestly don't. I think it's enjoyable, and it'll be enjoyable for some people, but it wasn't my kind of game. Not just because it has the Metal Gear name in it, it wasn't really tailor-made for me. So I'm probably going to have to put this, for now, in D. It may go into F later on. Metal Gear. Next up is one of the most controversial games in probably the whole entire series. It is Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. I know Metal Gear Solid 2 gets a lot of stick, and to be honest, when I first played it, coming off the hype that I had when playing Metal Gear Solid, 1, I was so goddamn excited for Metal Gear Solid 2. Not only was it on the next-gen system, i.e. the PlayStation 2, we never had a Metal Gear Solid game on the PlayStation 2 so far, and this was coming out on it. I remember seeing the trailer for it as like a teenager and thinking, this looks outstanding. Just the look of the game, it looks so much better than the first game, obviously. There was a lot to this game, but I still, after all these years, still think it's incredibly fun. It is so stupid at times. It's so over the top, especially in terms of like the ending and the overall story and the President of the United States stuff and all this kind of thing that happens. It's a bonkers series, but that's why I love Metal Gear. It's just, it's one of the most bonkers stories or lore that you could have in any media, or especially video game series. And Metal Gear Solid 2 had a lot of that bonkers storyline, and I kind of love to hate it a little bit. So, with that being said, and the fact that I kind of enjoyed that little twist, I wasn't really angry about it. I only noticed that people were angry about the whole Metal Gear Solid 2 twist when I essentially logged on to the internet and then saw everyone was angry about it. But in my own mind, when I played the game, I really liked it. It's weird and it's over the top and it's slapstick comedy at times, but you know what? It's kind of got that lovable charm that I love about it in the whole series. I'm gonna put it in B. I'm gonna put it in B. I know some people may not agree with that, but I'm gonna put it in B. Metal Gear, eat my ear. Apologies to David here. So the next two, they are the card game that came out on the PSP, Metal Gear Solid Acid 1 and 2. They're probably going to fall in the same ranking, to be honest. They're not too different from each other. You know, if you never played these games before, Metal Gear Acid was the first, I believe, especially Acid 1 was the first Metal Gear Solid game to come out on the PlayStation Portable. Everyone was quite excited about it, but then later on they learned that Metal Gear Acid was not exactly a Metal Gear game. It was more of a card game where playing the cards would do stuff on the screen. It still had that Metal Gear Solid interface, you know, it was still like a third-person stealth game, but you would play cards and that would move Snake and do certain actions on the screen. And I really kind of got addicted to Acid a little bit on the PSP. I played it so much, and I thought it was really fun. I know a lot of people would say the two Acid games were just such a diversion from everything else, but so was Metal Gear Solid Survive, and I don't mind them diverting the series in different directions, but if they can make it work, then okay. And I think Metal Gear Acid is a pretty good game, especially on the PlayStation Portable. I think it's a fun game to have on a portable console. So I'm going to put them in C. I will put both games, Metal Gear Solid Acid 1 and 2, they're both going into the C category. I mean, they also kind of worked in a lot of Metal Gear stuff into the Acid games, including like a storyline that you could follow. Maybe not as good as the rest of the games in this list, but still, it was really, you know, it was fun. I'm just seeing all these games coming up on the list, and I think about 80% of them might be controversial. I mean, it is one of the most controversial games. Like, a lot of people love it or hate it, I would say, Metal Gear Solid series. I mean, overall, for me, I love it. But the next one coming up is the PlayStation 3 release of Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots.
Here we go!
Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots.
Kind of Solid Snake's swan song of a game. In many people's eyes, maybe including mine a little bit as well. I honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think this should have been the last game in the Metal Gear Solid universe to kind of end it on a high. This game probably should have ended the whole entire series, to be honest. Was one of the most cinematic, action-packed games, emotional, crazy, twisty games I've ever played, and I kind of love it. And at the end of it, I felt like I've been on like a roller coaster of a ride, and it did feel, because obviously we didn't know that Metal Gear Solid 5 was coming out, it did feel like this was the end. Like, to think that Metal Gear Solid, the first one, was the game that got me into the whole entire series, and it felt like 4 was the last one. Especially, it felt like Solid Snake's story, it was the last we'll ever see of him. It really fucking hit me hard when I finished this game. I would say Metal Gear Solid 4 is a real fan favorite game, I would say. There's so many callbacks to the previous games. There's even the return to the Shadow Moses mission in there, or scene. It's just, that got me so unbelievably teary-eyed when that happened. I just didn't expect it at all. I tell you what, thinking about it, I really goddamn love this game. Screw it. Boom. Obviously, I may change it later, but for now, I just have so many memories of playing that game and just being wowed by it all the time. I think it's yes, it's kooky, and yes, it's all over the place in times, but like every Metal Gear Solid game is. No Metal Gear Solid game is going to be perfect. It's going to have its pros and cons, but 4 just blew me away. And that's all I remember from it. Is just 4 was just so good, such a fan favorite game, and I love it so much. Next one up, I would say, doesn't really count as like a full game. It's most likely a extended demo, I would say, but it's Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which was kind of demo that got released before Metal Gear Solid 5 came out. It was kind of the pre-story to what happens in Metal Gear Solid 5. Ground Zeroes had a lot in it for just one level. There was a lot of stuff you could do. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of the Hitman series. Like, you don't get a lot of levels in the Hitman series. You usually get like 5 or 6 of them, especially in the recent kind of rebooted versions. But it had a lot of things you can do in it. You can replay the missions over and over again. I honestly think it's a fun little short game. So let's put it in C for now. I think C is, I mean, it's better than Survive. Like, even this one level is way better than Survive. So C, I think is, I can't justify putting it ahead of the Acid games. Again, they're full games and I kind of enjoyed them anyway, so I'm going to put it just at the bottom of C for now. So the next one up is, again, kind of in the similar vein as Ground Zeroes. It's Metal Gear Solid on the PS1, but the VR Missions kind of special edition. So this was kind of released after Metal Gear Solid on the PS1 came out, or I think alongside of it, where you basically get to do a bunch of them. I remember them. I think there was like over 100 VR missions you could do. There was some VR missions in the original Metal Gear Solid, but not as like drastic and fleshed out as this like separate release. It was fun for the time, I would say. I'm probably going to put this in C as well. Let's go. Oh, Ground Zeroes. I'm probably just gonna I'm gonna put it just behind Ground Zeroes. So next up is many people's favorite in the whole series. It is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Weirdly, a game I didn't get along with the first time I played it. When I played this, I thought this was a step down from 2. I thought it was a major step down from 2. I sort of didn't like the not really open worldness of it, but the survival and semi-open worldness of it, like the whole sneaking around using trees and grass and stuff, and the camouflage system. It never really clicked with me, and I never really got on with it that much. But I remember replaying it like years later after it came out and finished the game and really, really, really loved it, and hated myself for missing out on it, really. It is a real outstanding technical, I would say, achievement for a PlayStation 2 game. It's one of the best looking PlayStation 2 games, I think, of all time. So it is an incredibly important game in the whole entire series. And I think I'm gonna put it in... Oh, where do I... I'm really battling with Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. Wow, I've come to this decision. You know what? Because I didn't get along with it the first time, I think I'm just going to put it here for now. I'm sorry that Metal Gear Solid 2 is just ahead, but Metal Gear Solid 2 really clicked with me the first time, and Metal Gear Solid 3 didn't, and I think that's why. It's Metal Gear Solid 3, don't get me wrong, is an amazing, amazing game. Two is just about ahead. Just about ahead. So we got another PSP game, which is Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. This was the one. This was the one that everyone wanted. It was third-person sneaking missions on the PSP. I was goddamn excited when I was playing this game. Yeah, I like it. I really like Portable Ops. I think it was a fun game. I think it's definitely... I don't think it's ahead of 3 or 2. For now, I think it's definitely ahead of Acid because it's kind of what we wanted. It's kind of that game that everyone wanted. It wasn't the greatest Metal Gear Solid game, to be honest. It had its limitations because obviously it was a PlayStation Portable, but it was fun at the time to play Metal Gear on a portable console. It was so fun. So, Oh, this is tricky. I think I'm going to have to reorganize C a little bit more, but I'm going to put it at the top of C for now, Portable Ops. Let's just put it at the top of C, the best of the portable games for now. The next up is Metagross Solid on the PlayStation 1. This game is one of the greatest games of all time. In my opinion, it's my favorite game of all time, and it still is. And I probably have talked about it so many times on this channel, but it just honestly changed the way I felt about video games after playing this. Like, I never got really emotional, even with like movies, especially with video games. I was kind of just starting off in video games land, I guess, with Metagross Solid. But after I finished it, it's the game that still to this day still blew me away, and after finishing it, I honestly didn't know what to do with myself. Like, I felt like I've been through something life-changing, and it was, in fact, it really was. It was that game that really changed my life, because it set me on the path to something I love, which is video games. To be honest, really, there's no other way I could really rank this. This is my favorite game of all time, so it's going to the top. It's like, I can't say anything else. Like, it's the game, the one game in the whole entire Metal Gear Solid series that has stuck with me for, God, well over 20 years, and I still remember everything about it to this day. And it affected me so much that, like, I never really, aside from a couple of games, never reached that kind of life-changing, or this game is completely changes your perspective on video games feeling before. And Metagross Solid started that. That was the game that got me into video games. It has to go to the top. I'm sorry. Kind of similar. I did have a GameCube, and one of the sole reasons I picked up the GameCube was for this reason, for this game, Metagross Solid: The Twin Snakes, which, for people who don't know, is essentially a remake of Metagross Solid that I just talked about. Obviously, much better graphics. They changed the way the cutscenes, like, everything was done from scratch. Like, everything was completely done from scratch with this game. Obviously, the story goes along the same way. There's quality of life stuff that they kind of change, and mechanics they change just to make it fit better. Things they learned over time that they should have done with Metagross Solid that they put into Twin Snakes. It is that game, but it's just, for the time when it came out, it was more modern with the graphics and stuff. I still think that look and feel, really, of the PlayStation 1 game is way, way better in a way. I know the graphics are better in the Twin Snakes and stuff, but the feeling I get from playing the PS1 game, it can't be beaten by a remake, to be honest, for me. So I like this. It's hard to really categorize this, because obviously it should probably go like here, but I don't feel good about putting the Twin Snakes there. It's fine, and I think most people today, if they were to play a version of Metal Gear Solid 1, they might be tempted to play the Twin Snakes version, because it does look a bit better. It just wasn't for me, though. It just didn't have the same feeling for me. So I think that this is a tough one. It should definitely go ahead of the Portable Ops game. I don't know if it's worthy of being in B or at the start of C. There's too many games in C, so I'm going to put it at the end of B. So Twin Snakes goes into the end of the B tier. Alright, so the last game, technically, unless Konami do something new, in the Solid Snake Big Boss universe, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. As I said with Ground Zeroes, the gameplay elements was the best that it's ever been in the Metal Gear Solid series. I think it's superb. It was so fun. The storyline for this was Big Boss, when he created Outer Haven, what happened in that time. It's kind of tying in with Peace Walker and him starting off his Diamond Dogs, essentially. There was like a blank space in the whole Metal Gear Solid timeline that maybe didn't have to be filled out. Maybe it was just they put it in there because, hey, we can make another game out of it. Let's fill this timeline with stuff. And without spoiling too much if you haven't played 5 yet, the storyline is very, 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 very hit and miss with a lot of fans, especially when you realize, as a lot of Metal Gear Solid games, the twist that comes in with it. I was still shocked at what happened to this day about the storyline with this game. I still don't know how I feel about it. Like, I feel mixed on it. Like, I could make for and against arguments for it. But I think 5 got a lot of things right. As I said, especially in the gameplay department. There's other factors like the whole timer, and I like the multiplayer side was kind of fun. Like, I enjoyed that as well. That was another side of it that I really liked. But there was a lot of kind of konami bullshit that was in it. You know, there was that timers. The timers really bugged me a lot. But like, in some sense, it did at times feel like there was mechanics of a free-to-play game in this game as well. They could, I think they even charged like microtransactions. Of course they did. It's Konami. Of course they would. I still think like it's a great game. I honestly, 5 is a great game. There's things about it that are hit and miss, and there's a lot of things about it that are like a definite miss for a lot of people. I still think it's a great game though. So I'm going to reorganize the list a little bit. I'm going to put it in B. I don't know. It's not going to go here yet. So let me just think about this for a minute. I need something to go in A. I think I'm going to put 4 in A. And then we're going to put... Oh, God. Do I put 2 in A? Oh, my God. Yeah. I think... And then we put that there. I think that looks fine. That looks right to me. I think. No, I'm going to put 2 back into B. I can't put it in A. Like, as much as I liked 2, I can understand why not a lot of people liked it. Oh, man. I don't know, but it's my tier list. Screw everyone else. We'll come back to it. Right, we got 2 more, and the next one is a spin-off of the Metal Gear series, Metal Gear Rising, which is the game that made Raiden cool.
I told myself this was about justice. About protecting the weak. But I was wrong.
He kind of looked cool in 4, I guess, but yeah, Metal Gear Rising was his own game with him being a cool badass ninja. Metal Gear Rising is fucking phenomenal. If you have not played Metal Gear Rising, it is such a fun, silly, over the top. It has all the elements of a Metal Gear game. Like, it's so over the top, it's so silly, it's so ridiculous at times. Like, I don't want to spoil some of the stuff because there's some absolutely ridiculous stuff in this game. And I found myself like having so much fun with it, but laughing my ass off at the same time. That's what makes a good Metal Gear game. When it's so silly, but there's so much action going on. And it has like an over-the-top story, over-the-top characters. Metal Gear Rising, in my eyes, is one of the most underrated Metal Gear games of all time. I want to put this in the A tier. I think it's definitely... I love it. I am putting an A. It's going in A. It's really good. Like, if you haven't played it, please play it. It's just... If you love some of the like silly things about Metal Gear, like if you love the main things that make a Metal Gear Solid game a Metal Gear Solid game, this has it. It's just with a different character. It's what made Raiden cool, this game. And I love it. I love Metal Gear Rising. It's so good. And finally, the last game on this list is a game that probably not a lot of people have played. It is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker on the PlayStation Portable.
Promise me, Snake, that you'll bring back peace.
From now on, call me Big Boss.
Maybe the majority of people have played this on the Vita I would say, or if you have, like me and a complete nerd, have the Legacy Collection, which is the PS3 game that has all the Metal Gear Solid games, aside from 4 and 5, I think. I'm Rising. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, in my eyes, is the best PlayStation portable game of all time. When Portable Ops came to PSP, it was amazing. It was great. It was like we could have Metal Gear, a proper Metal Gear game on a portable console. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, essentially, in my eyes, or how I feel about it, it was the foundations for what 5 was going to be. I mean, I know it's tied into the story with Big Boss and everything, so 5 and Peace Walker are very closely linked, but it's outstanding. For a PlayStation portable game, it is outstanding, the amount of stuff to do on this game. Like the look of it as well. It's just, it was mind-blowing when I played it. I couldn't believe, like, it felt like not a PlayStation portable game. It felt like even a PlayStation 3 game on a PSP at times. Peace Walker is absolutely outstanding, and again, it's a game that I don't think many people have played. It may not, I guess, have the same impact because obviously graphically it's not going to have the same impact, but if you ignore that, if you have a PSP still, like me, and have Peace Walker, or want to get Peace Walker, get it. It is the best experience I've had on a PlayStation Portal. In fact, it's probably one of the best portable experiences I've ever had, like on any portable console. It's outstanding. It goes in A. Oh, does it go ahead of oh. You know what? As much as I love Rising, I'm going to put it just ahead of Rising. So that is everything. Now, do I want to make any final adjustments before the comments section have a go at me? Something has to go into F. I mean, Metal Gear Solid Survive. Sorry. I mean, it was bound to happen. I'm really sorry. I'm going to put VR missions in D. Sorry, Ground Zeroes. I'm going to have to put you in D. I mean, Ground Zeroes is good. It's good, but it's just a level. I'm fine with Acid being there. Portable Ops, I'm fine with it being there. Twin Snakes definitely goes ahead of 5 in my opinion. It's this group here that I'm not so sure about. This is the hardest. Oh man. I'm gonna have a new rule. I can't have a maximum of 3 things in a tier. That's my new rule. The thing is, if I put 2 in A, then I have to get rid of something in A to go up, and I've just said I can't. Well, I could put something behind Metal Gear Solid. I could put 4 there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put Twin Snakes back into B. I'm going to move Metal Gear Solid 2 into A. Bottom of A. I'm going to put 4 just behind S. I didn't think I was going to do that, but I mean, that looks kind of right to me. A little bit. No, it looks a little bit wrong to me as well. It's real hard to categorize all these games because they have so many pros and cons, different pros and cons with each game, but that's my list. That we're going to end it with that. The 2 top games are obviously Metal Gear Solid is my favorite, and then 4 is second. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with that. That's my definitive ranking of the Metal Gear Solid games or Metal Gear games that I've played. God, that was a lot harder than I thought it was. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video on me ranking all the Metal Gear Solid games that I've played. If you want to have a go at this, I'll leave a link in the description or the comments below to the Metal Gear Solid Games tier maker page, so you can have a go yourself. Or, quick and easy, you can leave a message in the comments to tell me what you would have done in terms of each rank, or where maybe do like a top 5 of where you would put stuff. Let me know what you think. You think I'm being too harsh on a certain series or not? I probably am, but just going with my gut instinct, that's how I feel. It feels kind of right to rank them that way. Maybe I might have 1 or 2 changes, but either way, thank you very much for watching. See you then. Snake! Sound like a sheep.